Yeah, I think I dragged that too a little bit. People might have heard that too at the beginning, but that's okay because I was really trying to say 239, right? Yeah. Sure, I was. Episode 239 of Fine Music. Our musicologist, Jim Babwe, has something to share, but I have no idea what it's
I
going to be.
do. I do. I'm going to do the album thing. I'm going to do the vinyl thing again. So let's start with, I have several pairs of records. And so we'll start out with everybody's favorite Vietnam protest song. I feel like I'm fixing to die, Rag Country Joe and the Fish.
Oh, yeah.
Really a distinctive voice. Probably best known for flat out courageous protest of the Vietnam War. Okay, all throughout. He's a poet with a band behind him. Okay, and have two of those albums. This one came out in 1967, and it comes with a special bonus.
Uh-oh.
I've never really tried to play the game, but it comes with a board game inside of it. and you know how on a Monopoly board there are, go to jail, collect $200, that kind of thing. There's rewards and punishment, so to speak. The rewards on this one, it says acid trip, score a joint, things like that. So somewhat dated, okay, but still, it's an interesting listen, and I think this is a band that has some historical and cultural significance. I mean, they played at Woodstock. They led people in a cheer that would have probably gotten them arrested if they were done it inside in a club, in those days. And then the second album that I have of theirs is kind of a retrospective, traces the history of the band. This one was released in 1971. Both of them on Vanguard Records. Okay, some trippy music. I'd have to say stoner stuff. Okay. Necessarily. Next one I got is two by T-Bone Burnett. Mostly known as a producer, session musician. This one called Trapdoors, an EP, and it had a limited release of 5,000 copies. This one came out in 1982. It's an EP. I don't remember if it's a 45 or a 33. Let's see here. It's a 33 RPM. But T-Bone Burnett is a really competent, skilled writer and musician. Ridiculous Man is a great cut. Diamonds Are Girl's Best Friend. Hold On Tight. Those are great. And then the second album that I have of his today is called The Talking Animals. And on this album, you will get, released in 1988, you'll get musicians Peter Case, some guy named Bono, and another guy named Tony O'Kay, who famous for a song called The Funky Western Civilization. You just grab your partner by the hair, throw her down, and leave her there. That's the kind of feeling that you get. Okay, song. This album has a great cut on it. The Strange Case of Frank Cash and the Morning Paper. And it's a narrative about a guy who goes out, gets the paper, and he realizes that he's getting tomorrow's paper. So what does he do? He goes to the horse racing track, right? And then he bets on football. And it all comes tumbling down later. So that's enough for that. And we got two by Tommy Bolin.
Oh, yeah.
Gone Too Soon, great guitar player. Played with a band called Zephyr from 1969 to 1971. Played with a band called the James Gang and a local guy here named Joe Walsh from 1973 to 74. Deep Purple from 75 to 76. I like every cut on both of these albums. Totally worth a listen. And he's one of those guys who wish he would have lived a little longer so he could have made more music. Okay, and I think I'll finish up. Oh, no, let's do two more. I got four more. I'll go fast. Don, you might like this one. This is a kind of a limited release EP.
Oh, I know it. Yeah.
You know this one? Yeah.
Sure, that's a single.
It's a single. That's right. There's one song 3 times, I think. Yeah, that's what it is.
That's in their style. Yeah.
Yep. Well known as 10cc, as the brains and the brawn behind 10cc.
The more creative half. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
The quirkier half.
And I'm going to go fast. The next one, we have some guy. These people, you may have heard of this guy. Les Paul.
Les Paul.
Mary Ford. This album came out in 1953. Distinctive guitar style by a guy who had probably more impact than any other person I can think of, along with Phil Spector. Okay. Not a wall of sound, but really finely tuned sound, multi-track recording. If you go to YouTube, you can find a series of videos where Les Paul is at a club. I think it's in New York. Yeah, it is in New York, where he calls up various artists out of the audience. Joe Walsh, Brian May. Who's the John? What's the guy's name from Yes, the guitar player?
Oh,
John
that
Anderson?
would be Steve Howe.
Steve Howe, yeah. Billy Gibbons, Steve Miller, Joe Satriani, a whole cast, and it's really fun stuff to watch him interact with people who just worship him and owe him quite a bit, in terms of their career. So that's Les Paul. And then a band with one of my favorite names of all time, Pearl Harbor and the Explosions. I don't know if you've ever heard this, but it's pretty darn good. It's a new wave pop-ish. Came out in 1980, I believe. Yeah, I got that right. And this is one of the bands where they made up some pretty interesting names for themselves. We have Pearl E. Gates, we have Peter Bilt, and then we have the lovely couple, Hillary and John Stench. Okay, ranks right up there with Lee Ving, Dinah Cancer. What else?
You mean like all those Bart Simpson prank names?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes,
Like
yes.
Oliver Close Off, leaving.
Yeah. Seymour Butts, stuff like that. Yeah. IP Freely. Yeah.
Oh, classic.
But there's some good songs on this album. It's kind of popish, but it's still pretty cool. And this is like, talk about 1980. Is that like a 1980 band right there or what?
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Check out these guys. Little thin ties, striped suit. She's got the diva look. Pearly Gates does. She's got a great voice. So that's my contribution.
Did they have a hit song on that album?
They did. It was called Driving.
Driving.
And I would sing it for you, but it would be virtually unrecognizable because of my inability to perform in that manner.
Okay.
Well, I saw T-Bone Burnett twice.
Oh, nice.
Once as part of Bob Dylan's Rolling Thunder Review.
Nice.
A guy named Rob Stoner directed the band, but T-Bone Burnett was actually the musical director of the whole tour.
I saw him once, and it was at the Arlington Theater in Santa Barbara, and he was standing behind me in line to get beer. I turned around and it's T-Bone Burnett. He's
Fred,
a little bit older than I thought he was. Pardon?
Fred is going to make a comment, but he has his audio off.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Oh, I can't hear you. We can't hear you, Fred.
Audio's off. Yes, that's right. We go warts and all here.
Was he part of the Alpha band?
Yes, he was.
Recorded 2 albums for Arista.
Yeah, that's what he. Right after the Rolling Thunder Review, I think there were a lot of the people who've been in the backing band.
Yeah, it was Rob Stoner, Burnett. Yeah, I had those albums. Yeah.
Does he have?
As far as Country Joe, I liked his total career, but the very first album was a great psychedelic rock album.
Absolutely.
The guitar players on that just were great.
Yeah.
That first album with Sweet Lorraine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think they have Spoons and a Washboard. Somebody playing Spoons and a Washboard on that album, if I'm not mistaken. One of the songs that I really like of T-Bone Burnett's, and I don't think it's on either one of these albums, it's not. It's called Palestine, Texas. And it's just really a very hard rock, straight ahead rock and roll song, man. And,
the time I saw him, he was opening for Elvis Costello.
Yeah, that's what I was there to see him at the Arlington Theater in Santa Barbara.
Okay. Elvis Costello was totally solo, and so was T-Bone Burnett. They each
Yep.
did a set.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
And I
Elvis
did see
Costello's
Pearl
amazing.
Harbor and the Explosions once.
Oh, cool.
New guy, Spencer, you had something to say.
Oh, sorry.
No,
What I was saying was Elvis Costello's amazing in concert.
Yeah,
I've
when he
seen him
comes
like
out at
4
the end, and
times.
when he comes out at the end and does the acapella thing, it's really something.
I've seen him with Steely Dan. I've seen him with the Police, which was amazing. Ben Folds, and then one other person, I forget exactly who, but he's probably the one I've seen second most to Weird Al Yankovic. He's
Oh,
awesome.
I went to high school with that guy.
Really? Well, I'm kind of
Yeah,
like
Weird
Weird
Al.
Al Yankovic.
He was a freshman when I was a senior. My sister knows him. I didn't know him, but he went to Linwood High School, straight out of Linwood, same as me.
Wow, what do you know? Yeah,
Yep.
I kind of have a lot in common with him, actually. He's like Weird Al usually does like kind of family friendly stuff, kind of refrains from
Yeah.
cursing and like controversial subjects. Generally speaking, I do too, yet I hang out with a lot of people who are kind of bohemian in nature. So I'm kind of, you could say I'm a walking contradiction.
You know what we got to do, Spencer?
Mhm.
We're going to do an episode about you, man.
Oh, there you go.
About your music. That's coming in the future.
And speaking
Oh,
of
okay, I
Elvis
look forward to it.
Costello,
Hmm.
I haven't heard any recording on which his guitar solo in Watching the Detectives is duplicated. The live performance of Watching the Detectives is spectacular with his guitar solos. They're
Yeah.
just so off the wall and discordant and just absolutely nuts. They're fun. I really like that part of his
I
show.
just caught a video of him doing Neil Young's Cowgirl in the Sand.
I haven't heard that one, but he's got a huge catalog.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
He's
yeah.
got a
Any of you guys know
gigantic.
the show Spectacle that Elvis Costello used to do?
Which?
Yeah.
Spectacle? It was a TV show where he had a lot of musicians.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Great show.
I did see
I
that.
saw the episode where he interviewed Sting. That was much like the Elvis Costello and Police concert, which is like my favorite of all time that I've seen. That was a great episode. Like they mashed up Walking on the Moon and Watching the Detectives.
Nice.
One song. It was amazing.
Did you ever see him when he had the Wheel of Fortune?
Like
I was
Spin
just
the
going to
wheel,
bring that
Elvis
up.
Costello?
Yeah, he had a wheel with the different songs and he spin it.
Yep.
What
Yep.
song's next?
no, I don't think I did.
Oh,
Yeah.
those were great. Those were great. And he would call a person out of the audience based on your ticket, the seat number where you're sitting. You go up, and I never got called up, but the person would go up and spin the Wheel of Fortune, and then they would play that song, whatever it ended up at, and then the person who spun the wheel would have a choice. They could dance on stage, or they could go sort of in the wings and have a drink.
Wow.
But his
Oh.
solo performances are tremendous. I mean, and a great voice.
Well, to bring it full circle, I think the first one, well, I know many of these acts, but the first one I'm going to check out that I haven't dived into is Country Joe and the Fish. I'm going to check that out thanks to Fred's recommendation.
Yeah,
on top of Jim's. And this episode,
I always appreciate the feedback in the commentary.
what? Yeah,
Neptunium.
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 239.
239.
All right.
I used to be